Hi, I'm Meryl Bailey. I'm the managing partner at a caring law firm with today's hot topic. Today's hot topic is Downton Abbey and what to do if your house guest dies in his sleep in one of your beds. Now, if you watch the show, you'll know why we're going to ignore just whose bed he died in for a moment. In case you aren't familiar with Downton Abbey, it's an Edwardian period drama airing on PBS TV as part of PBS's Masterpiece Classic series. The show is set in Yorkshire, England. It begins in 1912 when the news arrives at the country estate of Downton Abbey that the Titanic has sunk. Lady Mary Crawley, daughter of the Earl of Grantham, is about 20 years old when the show starts and was arranged to be married to her distant cousin, Patrick Crawley, to keep the money in the family. But Patrick went down with the Titanic. Lady Mary's grief doesn't quite reach the depths of despair you might imagine if your fiancé died. So perhaps she wasn't too keen on marrying Patrick. But because Mary is merely a girl, and as such she's precluded from inheriting the Earldom of Grantham, Mary and all of her female relatives are going to be out on the street when Mary's father dies, when the Earl of Grantham dies. So Mary is being paraded around like a show pony. She's under a lot of pressure to get married in a big hurry to someone with a boatload of money because someone has to take care of all the girls. One appropriate candidate is Evelyn Napier, who comes to visit, and he happens to bring a friend with him. Mary is dumbstruck by Kemal Pamuk, who's incredibly handsome, very smooth. He's a diplomat from Turkey, and he's in London for the Albanian independence negotiations, and he comes to stay at Downton Abbey for the weekend. Mr. Pamuk talks Thomas, the evil footman, into bringing Mr. Pamuk to Lady Mary's bedroom in the middle of the night. He needed a guide because Downton Abbey is so large that if he were wandering around on his own looking for her room, he was bound to find somebody else's. Lady Mary, instead of screaming her full head off when a strange man starts fondling her under her comforter, jumps out of bed, has an entire discussion with him about how she'll be ruined if he's found in her room. There's much clutching of pearls and gnashing of teeth. But then she jumps in bed with him and has sex with him. And I was like, oh, no, she won't. And then I was like, oh my God, she did. Now, I'm assuming it was the cold black heart of Lady Mary that sucked the life out of him. But Pamuk dies. Young, beautiful, hale Mr. Pamuk dies in the middle of the night in Lady Mary's bed. Now what are they supposed to do? Well, if Downton Abbey were in Florida, the Crawleys would have had to call the police when Mr. Pamuk's body was found. And of course, his body was found in his own room because Mary, her mother, who's the Countess of Grantham, and one of the maids dragged his corpse in the dead of the night around the halls of Downton Abbey back to Mr. Pamuk's proper bed. I mean, good grief. This place is crawling with servants, house guests, family. Everybody's got dogs, and no one wakes up to all of this activity, but I digress. According to Florida Statute 406.11, sub 1, sub A, sub 4, and sub 5, because Mr. Pamuk died suddenly when in apparent good health, and he was in a private home and not attended by a physician or hospice, the police would have had to investigate for evidence of foul play. The medical examiner would be involved and likely would perform an autopsy. It would be several hours or days before Mr. Pamuk's next of kin would be allowed to attend to his body. Of course, that's not what happened in Downton Abbey. Boy, they downloaded him to the nearest funeral home and got going. Downton Abbey is full of the most interesting topics, so please take a look at our other videos. Thank you so much for listening today to today's hot topic. I hope to see you again soon.